Yeah, yes, karibuni. Nawakaribisha katika shule yetu siku ya leo. Wacha nitafute wakereketwa. Yeah, so maybe to remind you, mutaniruhusu nitakuwa tu na I don't know but I think which is okay. So sitaki kusukuma watu sana. I think ni kama watu wameisha steam, so tutaendelea tu vile watu wako. So I don't know if bwana Mbudhi ama ni frustration watu wako nayo ama ni nini, but I would want maybe people to explain to me what is happening, because yeah, we need to talk. Sijui because unajua like when we don't have a good attendance in the show, you don't feel motivation hata ya to do the show. So we can actually say maybe watu wanataka break kidogo, or I don't know what people want. Sijui ama ni World Cup. Anyway, we can always give people break anyway, kama if you, because you know like I've been engaging Valerie, show ya Valerie of late imekuwa very low. Then I come late as well. My show has also been very low. So I don't know what is happening. Sijui kama ni watu ni kususia ama ni nini, but I'll be monitoring the show, because actually it is usually a sacrifice for people to come here and do a show. So I'm monitoring the show. If they continue the way I see them, I will assume you people you have been defeated, and I think I want now to return back to my schedule. So maybe because I remember when we started this show, they were out of we want to create a momentum ya kupiga Ruto, but I can see now that momentum is already not there. So I feel I need to return back to my private life. So it is something I will evaluate, but I do not see motivation with the people. And if you don't see motivation with the people, I think instead of just coming here to sit down and pretending I'm doing a show, I better just go and do my other stuff. So, and let's assume our opponents have won, because I don't want just to be seated here to run a show which people are not watching. So it takes a lot of energy to just come and sit and we don't have a good show. So even our commentators these days, they don't come. So I think personally, I feel maybe there is a communication people are putting. Maybe it's only that maybe they are not telling me. So that's why I now feel, because you know, to be able to do these shows here, saa zingine unatoka kazi umechoka, you have to do a show because we want to keep on doing the narrative. There is a lot of sacrifice which somebody does, and so when we see like it's like people do not want the show, I think I need that communication from you people. Kama show zimewachosha, I will humbly and meticulously drop them, and I focus with my life. So there's no need of just coming and shows have no attendance. So I will just go and focus with my life. Sasa tuseme kila mtu aende apambane na Ruto kivyake, which is okay, but I'm not understanding. So tomorrow I will be doing a poll Kama watu wataki shows waniambie, I'll be happy to return to my private life. Yeah, but I don't want just to be doing shows which na kama mmekubaliana mmeshindwa na Ruto, it's still okay, but it is not encouraging the way I'm seeing, because we brought 2 shows so that we can be able to build them. Now ukiangalia, like, the decline of the show is not normal. Yeah, our shows have seriously declined, so I don't know why. So kama muzitaki tu, it's still okay, so I will just abandon them. So hapo hakuna shida. So I think there are very many podcasts around where people are discussing, so we don't need to be too much glued on that. As well, another person anaanzisha show, maybe there is fatigue for the Kenyan democracy, which I can also appreciate. Kama kuna mtu mwingine maybe anafikiria they can do a better show, tunaweza kuja kwake, but I feel people do not want this show again. That is my feeling, which is okay. So I'll just go declining it, alafu from there, yeah. So, but ni sawa. So, I did my best. I think for the last almost 1.5 years I've been here every day. So hata nisipokuja tena, I've done my job. I came here faithfully every day, out of my schedule. I'm just here. So ni nyinyi mmekataa show, sio mimi. So, and I have nothing else to do, so I will just have to. And we started one of the show whereby we didn't even want to bombard people. Hakuna michango tunawaitisha. Kazi yenu tu ile tu tunataka ni muone show na mtaki. So I will just have to quit it. Yeah. Some of us, we suspended our lives. We said that we wanted to see things happening in Kenya. So unasimamisha maisha yako, unasema you want to focus on this one. Mtu kama mimi nikasimamisha my training, nikasimamisha nini, nikasema I don't want to do this until I focus on this. And then I see people are not interested. So I think maybe also people are also building their lives. And it's also important also for even us to go and build our lives. So Shwea Baralet, we stopped it, so it will not be coming for now. Na pia show yangu with the time pia itaenda hivi, alafu tuachane nayo. And we said it was a good time, it was a meeting. Yeah, because for Valerie to be here, I have to facilitate her. So and I cannot just facilitate Valerie na watu hawakuji. So, or we are not having a good viewership. So I'll not do that. So I monitored for a lot of time. So I think, yeah, so that's how it is. Nasikianga pia Stony PK akisema giving up is not wrong, but it's sawa. So I'll be wrapping up my podcast very soon. So kama kuna mtu wako na neema ya kuanzisha podcast, you can start. But I don't want to run podcast for now. So I feel I need to focus on other things. Yeah, so let's just note that. So I think it was a time I enjoyed personally running a show here. Niwacha na story ya kumaliza msomo. Mimi nafunga podcast, mutafute podcast zingine. Yeah, so it's okay. So najua saa zingine ukiona people are not interested with the podcast, you just so let me go and focus with other things. And still okay. Mimi nimeshindwa na podcast. Unajua mtu akishindwa na kitu anasemanga ameshindwa. So those people who are ready to run podcasts, they can learn. So I think for now, I don't feel the inclination to run the podcast any longer. So we cannot sell out to Ruto. I'm not part of Ruto, but I don't feel the inclination to run the podcast because I feel people have given up, and badala ya kukaa hapa kuongelesha watu hakuna, we can just I would encourage everybody to go and focus with their lives. It's also good to focus with your life, yeah, because tulijitolea sana. You come here daily, and it's a day. So, and you don't need to talk. So me, I will be closing this podcast, but people are welcome. So kama kuna mtu ako na neema ya kuanzisha podcast, I want to focus on other things. I want to focus with the data analytics na vitu zingine, but I don't want to be coming and running a show. So I want to be because as you are running the show, there are other things which you cannot be able to focus on. I would be happy to run a show if there is enthusiasm, but there's no enthusiasm. And those are some of the, and I can even see them in my post, and something which I can tell you. What there is, and it's something which I can tell you, and you come on, if you speak with this with all our opposition people, we have lost track. That is the reality. We have lost track. I'm not saying that Ruto is gaining, but there are so many things which have refused to tie up. So our campaign is no longer tying up. So that is the reality of the matter. So our campaign is not tying up. So I think for now, I don't want to focus with the politics. It is better to focus with other things. So I don't want to focus with the politics because I feel people have given up. And it is not wrong to give up if people have given up and they now feel there's nothing which can happen in Kenya. We can actually convert this podcast to something else. But politically, I don't see that inclination of people who feel there is need to fight. There's no need to fight because I think, and I understand it, people, all our political actors, they are not showing the fortitude principle of a campaign which can win. I get it. So all the time ni kuambia watu tungoje uchaguzi, and there are things which are not and the critical things which are supposed to happen in the ground are not happening. Ruto is just doing all the bad things, and still our opposition leaders are just tolerant with him. So it is not logical. And I don't want to be that person who will waste 3 years in something which eventually we will not conquer. I don't know. We started this show from last year. You fuel all your energy here. Unatoka kazi unakuja unafungua show hapa, but there's no motion to issues. So I better stop it and focus on things which as well appear. At least there's no need of sitting down here and we are not tying things up. Afadhali tuache what mtu wa focus na maisha yake. For me, it's good when you see those red lights. Hakunanga haja ya kujifanya things are working and they are not. Yeah, so there's no need ya kujifanya we are on the track and things are not working. So I would rather say, in any case, you don't need politics to survive. And you don't need politics to survive. So you can focus on yourself. Kama siasa imekataana, just focus on yourself. It looks like Kenyans are prepared to be ruled by Ruto. That is why there is not that motion of things to work out. So saa zingine tu just wewe wachana na mambo mingi, fanya kile unaweza. So yeah, that's how it is. So mimi personally, I feel siasa hapana. Tuseme tu tumejaribu na tukashindwa, because there's no need of I expect us to be, especially when like the election is like 1 year to come. That's the time when people are losing energy. Come on. So afadhali tu hata tu niende tu ni focus tu na vitu zingine. Haina shida. So occasionally if I get somebody to interview, I will be bringing them. Maybe that one I can do. But doing daily shows, they are not productive. They are not making sense. So, and daily shows are not productive. They are not making sense because hatutaki kuzichangamkia. That is the issue. Hatutaki kuchangamkia hizo shows. So I think there are so many Kenyans who have podcasts, so it's still fine. So maybe there is a line we are not able to do, or there is something we are not doing and others are doing. So that's what I would say. So maybe this one could also be an opportunity to maybe Mungu anataka kurefurbish Shakahora. Maybe it's an opportunity also for podcasts like Shakahora and other places, maybe to, yeah. So, and maybe pengine I'll be happy. Those who would want to go back to Shakahora, you can go to Shakahora. There's no problem. Me, I will not come there. So it's up to you. So ukifikiria unaweza fanya hivi ni sawa. Fikiria naweza enda hapa ni sawa. I think there are so many podcasts where people can listen. So, but for now, I think I feel this podcast is not needed. Unajua ni vizuri kuambia watu ukweli. At this particular time, this podcast is not needed because there's no way in which we can be deliberately running a show which you don't want. Na mulipishwa hata kukuja hapa. We don't nag you people even with the donations. Atuambia ati hata mtupe pesa mtulipe. We just want your participation. It is very demoralizing, by the way. I think inakaa vitu za kulipa ndizo mnapenda, so endeni tuko tu mnalipanga in good faith. It looks like free things are not lovely. So nitaomba kwa heshima, yeah, just those places where, yes, ni kurudi Shakahola, there is no, so mimi sitaki kufungilia Neema. Maybe there could be some faults which people are seeing in this podcast. There are some faults people are seeing in this podcast, and maybe there are some podcasts which are running well. So mimi sitaki kusukumilia podcast kwa watu. I was expecting this podcast to climb, especially at this time of election, but sasa ndio mmeishiwa na hewa kabisa. Yeah, and I don't want just to be running a show where like let me tell you what it takes for me to run a show, because najua saa zingine the time when I run a show, I have to cancel meetings kama niko nazo, because I have to focus here. I have to cancel meetings. Either I have to go home late, I have to sleep late, I have to juggle from one work to another to this podcast. when I finish this podcast, kama kuna kitu ingine nilikuwa nifanye, I cannot do. I used even to work with some people, but actually I stopped working with those people because I wanted to run a podcast. I stopped working with some people on issues. Nikamwambia for now, nataka kufocus na hii podcast. No, and it's not about taking things. I want to show you the extent in which a human being can go. So that something can. I'm not saying that I need to be paid or lazima tu watu wafurike hapa. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that there is a lot of sacrifices which are usually done to make sure that such things are running. All I've been requesting all along is participation. Participation. Let's tell people we have a podcast. Kitu kama hiyo, just participation. You are participation around. I went to the extent of even having 2 shows. Kunakuwa na show ya 10 p.m. so that mtu asikuwe na sababu ya kusema attend show. Then I also don't get feedback from you people like to tell me like if the show is bad, what is wrong? Anujai ni complainia show yenyu iko na shida. So those are things which have been evaluating me mwenyewe. Yeah, so I think we can fight Ruto individually. Yeah, we can fight Ruto individually, so I have no problem about that. So at least for the next 1 month kuna kitu ya kukeep watu busy bado, because yeah, kuna kitu ya kukeep watu busy. Yeah, at least naona World Cup iko, so people will not be bored. Yeah, I've also seen like, by the way, leo watu France wameuawa sana na heat wave. Sijui hiyo heat wave ya wazungu inakaaje. I'm surprised like 1,000 people have died in France from heat wave. It's so serious. Record heat kills across Europe. Na ujue pia hapa they also, even in the World Cup, wana complain story ya heat. Na mbona kwani wazungu wako wamejipanga na heating systems na nini cooling systems ama ni aje? I need to watch this one so that I can be able to understand. Ya, ni sawa. Ni nyinyi. Ya, kila mtu aende apigane na Ruto kivyake sasa. Tukishindwa we will congregate hapa. Tuseme ulitutuma na tulishindwa.
The Eiffel Tower closing its own doors against the heat. A football player drowned trying to cool off in the river. Scientists say nights this hot are now 100 times more likely than 20 years ago. The sky itself has turned into a weapon. France's record-breaking heatwave has claimed close to 1,000 lives, with health officials warning the toll is far from final. Public Health France said in a statement on June 28th that around 1,000 excess deaths had been recorded since June 24th, compared with the usual death rate for this time of year. The vast majority, 85%, involved people aged 65 or over. The worst-hit regions were those placed under red heat alerts, including Île-de-France, Nouvelle-Aquitaine, Brittany, Centre-Val de Loire, Normandy, and Pays de la Loire. More than 30 French departments spent much of the week under that red alert, and June 24th became the country's hottest day on record, with the average temperature over 24 hours reaching 30 degrees Celsius. In Paris, the strain on emergency services prompted authorities to ban public drinking over the weekend, while the city's Pride March, originally set for June 27th, was postponed. Both the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre began closing early to cope with the heat.
That's my apartment.
It's really hot in my apartment.
we live on the last floor, so we also want to study. We also want to continue our life normally, but it's almost impossible. Like, I knew by my neighbor that the town hall is open, so the first thing we did, we came to the town hall to study, to continue our work, because like at some point, even with the fan, it's not working in the house, so we had to find another place. And it's nice that we have this.
As residents sought relief in parks and along canals, the dangers of unsupervised swimming turned fatal. A man drowned in the canal St. Martin on the night of June 26th, prompting a blunt warning from the city's mayor. French Health Minister Stéphanie Rist warned that the consequences of the heatwave could linger for up to 10 days after temperatures finally ease.
Yes, there are some. Obviously, mortality is increasing, but it is not for me to communicate on that. It is for the health authorities to do so. We have more or less all the indicators that show we are in a difficult situation. It is both the calls to the SAMU, the calls to the fire brigade, admissions to emergency departments, and obviously, deaths. And so I repeat, emergency measures are necessary for our own protection and to stay hydrated, and above all, not to believe that one is invulnerable.
Football was not spared either. League Two player Kenzo Kies, 21, died after reportedly drowning in the Rhône River during the heatwave, with his club Guingamp expressing its condolences. The crisis has stretched well beyond France. Scientists describe the heatwave, which began on June 20th, as the worst Europe has ever recorded, with human-caused climate change making this week's extreme nighttime temperatures around 100 times more likely than 2 decades ago.
A widespread, intense, late June heatwave in Europe, as you all know, as you're all feeling, has shattered numerous temperature records. It's having major impacts on human health, on ecosystems, on agriculture, on labor productivity, and it's accompanied in some areas, in particular France, by worsening drought and the risk of wildfires, as well as localized storm.
Germany, Poland, and Italy were all forecast to near or top 40 degrees Celsius, while storms disrupted parts of France, cutting power to around 63,000 households by early June 28th. In Italy, rescuers searched for the husband of Cabinet Minister Eugenia Roccella, missing since June 27th after swimming in Lake Vico, north of Rome.
High temperatures we're seeing during the day get much of the attention, but nighttime temperatures are exceptionally high too. When temperatures stay above 20 degrees Celsius overnight, as we've seen recently, as Claire mentioned, residences can't shed the excess heat, and that exposes people to dangerous indoor conditions. In such conditions, the body can't recover from the heat of the day.
With storms now moving through parts of the country, France and half of the European continent are bracing for the true scale of its heat wave to become clear only in the days ahead.
Alors nous, le Airbnb qu'on a loué, c'est écrit clim, mais pour elle, c'est vraiment la tasse. Hier, quand on a quitté, elle dit n'oubliez pas d'éteindre la clim. On veut profiter de nos journées. On est à Paris pour quelques jours. Donc, même hier, malgré la chaleur, on a été se balader autour de Notre-Dame. Si on va attendre que la chaleur disparaisse, on ne visitera pas grand-chose. Donc, on a des bouteilles d'eau et puis voilà. On essaye d'alterner un petit peu entre l'ombre et le soleil.
We decided to come here quite early in the morning because the weather in these days is quite hot, so it's not easy during the afternoon to visit in a safe way.
That means self-cleaning. So it means that when it rains, the rain has a chemical reaction with the chemical stone.
Il y a aussi des mariages qui se déroulent magnifiques. La vie continue. Regardez les mariages magnifiques. Comme dans toutes les mairies d'arrondissement de Paris, on a ouvert ici dans le 18e des salles rafraîchies pour permettre aux habitants du quartier, aux habitants du 18e de trouver un espace, en plus des espaces qui existent à l'extérieur, pour se rafraîchir, pour faire une pause, pour travailler pour beaucoup, pour venir avec leurs enfants, bref, pour pouvoir être ensemble tranquillement et au frais dans ce moment de grande canicule. Donc on prend bien sûr en compte les personnes les plus fragiles pour les mettre à l'abri, pour leur permettre de vivre cette période le plus facilement possible. Et c'est vrai aussi des tout petits dans nos crèches. Et là aussi, vous le verrez, dans nos zones rafraîchies, il y a beaucoup de gens qui viennent avec leurs enfants petits parce qu'eux aussi sont en fait fragiles.
It's really hot at my apartment. We live in the last floor. So we also want to study, we also want to continue our life normally, but it's almost impossible. So I knew by my neighbor that the mairie is open. So it's the first thing we did. We came to the mairie to study, to continue our work. Because at some point, even if with the fan, it's not working in the house. So we had to find other place, and it's nice that we have this.
C'est difficile, hein, parce que chez moi, il y a 33. Donc, j'habite sous les toits. Pour moi, j'habite près d'ici. Donc, pour moi, c'est facile de venir.
Et du coup, on est venu se rafraîchir parce qu'à la maison il fait trop chaud et dans les parcs il fait trop chaud.
Yeah, that was a tribute because of the people who are dying in France. Naona sasa Anne ameanzia kuchocha watu. Yeah, it is true, Anne. Wacha tu focus na mambo ingine. Utakuwa unanitumia link unaniambia ingia show ya mse, which is fun as well. Yeah, so we have to re-strategize and think formula ya kutoa Ruto ni gani. So ndio nataka kuacha we independently think. Saa zingine maybe tumekuja hapa tumepiga kelele mingi and we are not able to talk much. So wacha kila mtu afikirie kutoka upembeni wake, how can we get Ruto out? It's not a laughing matter. We cannot afford to do a misstep. Yeah, so we cannot afford to do a misstep on getting Ruto out of power. So, and that is why I'm taking a back seat a little bit so that we can all go and reason on that. And yeah, let's just reason on that. And if we can be able to fight Ruto from our own niches, it is still fine. Yeah, lakini mimi sitaki kukuja hapa na wasukuma mtoe Ruto na mtaki kumtoa. So yes, and it's not about kujam. Sio hata nyinyi peke yake amukuji show. Even commentators do not come. So it is not like ni mimi mwenyewe nataka ati kutoa Ruto. Ruto is a collective responsibility. Tunamtoa sisi wote. So I'm always happy to run a podcast and to run a show. And it is something which I like, but I look at how things are going, and when I don't see motivation from all of us, I think there's no need of pushing us. There are so many places where we can do things. So sio lazima tufanyie vitu hapa. So that's the reason why I feel we need a very long break. Mungu akinipe. Unajua hizi vitu zinafanyangwa sababu ya neema. So maybe Ruf naweza kuambia hii. God gives you grace to do something. So saa zingine hiyo neema ikikuja iende, saa zingine usiisukumilie. So I don't think I longer have the grace to run a show. I have to be honest. So I don't feel I have that grace to do a show here again. So I think now I have grace to do other things. So I will just monitor what Ruto is doing. And then no, Joseph, it's not about depression. It's your depression. So depression. Sasa Joseph, sasa unakuja hapa umekimbia after umejificha siku 3. I cannot relax. Mulikataa show. And it takes a ton of my time to be here. So there's no need of doing a show which people don't want to appreciate, because when people are not here, either people are not here or the comment section is not there, or on overall people don't want our shows. The sacrifice is not worthy. I don't think the sacrifice is worthy, because at times for me to be here, kama sai, it is 40 minutes to Netherlands versus Morocco. So for me to run a good show, I have like to forego such an event. I have to forego such an event. Sitaki kufanya. If somebody calls me and niambie, Njiro, can we meet somewhere today? Because I've already scheduled to be here. Siwezi enda. So I want people to start seeing what it takes for somebody to come and run a show. It's a lot of work. You have to forego so many things within your own life. And it is something which I was very much interested to do until next year. And the next year, add it to Ruto. But I don't feel the momentum to to continue with it. Yeah, I don't feel the momentum to continue with it. So right now I want to focus with my career now, which is also a good thing as well. So it's not about so let me focus with my career. I had decided to post myself, but I can only post myself nikianzia kuona there is a direction we are having. Then ukiangalia vitu tena, we try to look for these politicians. They can no longer be seen anywhere. They can no longer be seen. So it's like we are literally not important. Unajua sasa saa zingine hata unaachilia tu watu tu unasema sasa wacha kuende vile kunaenda, because they seem like they have their own people who manage them, na si ati mnatafuta hawa watu ati mkitaka pesa. Hapana. Like these people are in a closed vacuum. They are completely making mistakes, and they are not accessible. Then they want to put us in the same circus which Raila Odinga put us for 20 years. I'm not ready to go through an emotional circus, which we went through here for 20 years with Raila Odinga, because it couldn't be accessible to ordinary people. It was only accessible to Akina Badi and Junet Mohammed, who are entrepreneurs elsewhere. So I don't want to follow men who are not accessible to common mwananchi. I don't want to follow people. I think it would serve me right hata tutu nikae tu hivyo. You can be a political by the, you don't need to be political. Unaweza sema sasa umeachana na story mingi. You can just be a political. But I don't feel it right. Up to today, we cannot be able to access these politicians. Up to today, we cannot be able to access those politicians. I'm not saying that we deserve them, we deserve the right to them, but there's no need ya kutetea watu hata hawataki. For me, I don't see it right. I think we can do a lot of work. We can do. You better even talk about Jesus ama vitu zingine, but there's no need ya kutetea hata watu hawataki. Let me show you something here. You know, and I will tell you the reason why I don't want to focus with these people again, because we are always trying to. I have so many politicians here. Hata unawaandikia message na hata hakuna mtu hata anaweza jibu. So we are even with akina Kipu wenyewe hapa. We have even tried to access their camp. We can't. So it doesn't make sense. I think it would be very good to access politics elsewhere. Yeah. So don't be worried. So mambo ingine itajitokeza. Yeah, we cannot access those people completely, and we cannot access those people completely. And I've even tried to access Gachagua. He is inaccessible. Nimepewa mpaka namba za watu wake, they are inaccessible. So why should we be talking about them? unapigia tu mtu anakuambia ngoja kidogo na kupigia, hiyo inaenda. Like somebody like Gachagua, we have tried to access him from last year. Even when we went to Seattle, we couldn't access him. And unashindwa, for you to access these people, mupeane maoni yenyu, kwani mnafaa kukuwa watu wa aina gani? Unajua kwa saa zingine mnaanza kujiuliza hiyo maswali. We can't access, like kama hatuwezi wa access saa hii, wakipata uongozi ndio tutaweza ku access. So why should we? You know, we need a focus campaign, because as one of the campaign which is very rational, because Rup, I have to tell you, our campaign is very rational. Our campaign is not being paid by somebody. Our campaign is very rational, and we have the genuine reason of wanting Ruto out. Yet most can access Gachagua, most can access Kalonzo Musyoka, most watu ya Ruto wanaweza access Matiang'i, lakini sisi watu genuine hatuwezi. As genuine people, we cannot access anyone in opposition. We can't. But Mamods wanaweza ingia hapo ndani. No, it's not about revolution. You know, you have to guide, you have to guide the political waves with a navigation point. And these politicians are our navigation point. They must be accessible. Anyway, ni sawa. Si ati tulizaliwa na wao. Mimi si ati nawajua anyway. Hakuna anu, achana na hiyo story. No one can access them. Mimi hata niliacha hiyo story. So I will be and I also run another, so I also have another educative podcast. So niko na podcast ingine where I do not host political issues. So hiyo ndio podcast nataka kufocus nayo. I have a podcast inaitwa Hidden Treasure. So that podcast is not about politics. So that's the one, that is the podcast which I want to grow. So is a psychological assessment podcast. So I want to focus with that one. So hii ya siasa hapana. I think it is better to focus with the things which have a tangibility angle. Maybe things which I have expertise in, kuliko sasa hii vitu ya kuzungusha mdomo hapa na ina faida. I don't want to focus on this one. So it is better I focus on things which I can critically support. Lakini wacha tu tupigane na Ruto, kila mtu apigane na Ruto wango yake. Yeah, so kila mtu tu apigane tu na Ruto tu wango yake. It is still fine. If we win, we win. If we don't win, it is still our nation. There are some countries which have survived, which have been having dictators for 50 years. So Kenya will not be the first country to have a dictator for 50 years. Kama hivyo ndivyo tumeamua. So if you people you are admired in countries like North Korea, fine. Tunaweza shikilia hapo. Lakini mimi unajua, mimi na monitor vitu, lakini mimi sifanyange kazi na chocha. I don't do work with the chocha. So I like doing practical things. So the guys who are here and they love football, I think you can take this time to have undivided. You can have a undivided attention on football. Maybe World Cup ikiisha na Mungu anipee neema, we can resume back. But people are extremely demotivated, and I don't want to handle demotivated people. You are silently giving in. You are showing like this war cannot be won. That's all what I can see, and I can tell you. So I think, me personally, we wanted to, unless those politicians come here, they are losing a lot of value. I wish like somebody like Martha Karua could have come here one day. We put them to extreme to. Unajua saa zingine, these people, they get access to people who cannot be able to put them to serious tasks, to serious questioning. So hadi saa zingine inakuwa tu ni kama tu we are massaging something instead of talking of real things. It's not good. We should have done the right thing, but mimi naona upinzani pia, we are so much disjointed. We are so much disjointed, and na ni kama watu wanajaribu, kila mtu anajaribu kuvuruta pande yake. So I don't see us having that unique way of working. Anyway, I will wish opposition well. Yeah, so I need to go home. Yeah, I can see it is 32 minutes to Netherlands game. So I want to go and focus on that one. So niende nione hiyo. I also cook. People can give me comments on what they feel. But until otherwise, this is my last appearance here. So it was good to run a show for. I think my first show was in 2024 here. So we did 2024, miezi mbili hapo. We did shows the whole of 2025, and now we are in 2026. I think we have done shows here almost for 1 year, 8 months. And for me, I think it's a good time. If the shows which we did, they have the impact of getting Ruto out of power. If the shows which we did here, they touched somebody. Yeah, we appreciate God. At least me personally, I did my best. I came. I remember I started this podcast when people are very highly demotivated. We did this podcast when people were highly demotivated. So, and watu wakapata nguvu, and I think now people, their minds have been quenched. So I think we have been able to solve much of the issues. So I don't think we need much strategy to fight Ruto. At this juncture, I think we can comfortably wait for the elections. Na kama Mungu atatupea neema ya kumtoa ni sawa. Kama haitawezekana, we fight another day. Yeah, that's all what we can say. Yeah, so until I see some willingness from us, I think is not possible. So Shuyavara, I advised her to isimamisha for now, and my show will also be going away. So that is what I can say for now. Yeah, so Wale walikuwa wamepata namba yangu, you can be saying hi. Yeah, if there is anyone who would want to talk to me, maybe I can give my email. Let me write it here. Yeah. No. And it's not about, it's not the issues of reinventing. Me personally, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I think my grace ilikuwa mpaka hapo. So, and it's not about reset. So I think for me, I'm done. I want to focus on other things. Just as in, when you realize that, I think I've come to, maybe politics is not my thing. Because you are not supposed to be running a show with a lot of fatigue. You are supposed to, hata ukifanya vitu unafaa kukuwa ukifanya vitu in a way in which things are smoothly flowing. Yeah, so that's fine. So it's okay. I don't want to blame anyone. Yeah, so maybe pengine ni mimi nimeshindwa na show, sio nyinyi. So that's my email. So if there is anyone who might want to speak to me, you can speak with me there. Yeah, and we call it a day. So for now, let me focus with World Cup and other things. Yeah, then nitakuwa tu nachungulia, naona mnadili na Ruto aje. Yeah, so mimi naangalilia sasa nikiwa pembeni. So I want to a little bit focus on other things. Unajua saa zingine ni vizuri pia kujipea break. You just give yourself. Unajua sikuwa nikitaka mnakuja hapa alafu mnaanzia kuulizia kwani ile show ya Njiro ilienda wapi? I didn't want to come here and then kunakuwa na lot of suspicion. Na ile show ya Njiro kwani ilienda wapi? So I needed to put the record straight. Nimeisha neema kabisa ya kukua hapa. Najua ni vizuri mtu kusema ukweli. So when you can't do things, you can do things. So but rights are still there. Kama kuna mtu anataka kurun show, you can come and run the show. Sarah is not about wrong or there are so many underlying issues. I think I don't want to say all of them here. Yeah, I can happily actually donate this show. Kama kuna mtu anataka kuirun, I can give you, and you move it forward. Yeah, kama kuna mtu anataka kuiendeleza, I can happily give it to somebody. Yeah, but I don't feel inclined to politics right now. But you are welcome to Hidden Treasures, where we will be doing other stuff there, which are not political. In Hidden Treasures, I'm focusing on building that channel, which I feel it might be more worthy on my intent and my inclination of thinking. This one was just a by the way. No, Mother Camido, is not that I'm giving up. Nyinyi ndio mmefanya ni give up. You know, your participation can make somebody give up. So nyinyi ndio mmefanya ni give up, and when people make you give up, you give up. Yeah. So, no, Sarah, mimi hata hakuna ati pahali Kasongo ati amenita. Me, I cannot talk with Kasongo, I cannot talk with anyone. Mimi hata ukisikia nimemaliza show, mimi naenda kwa mambo zangu. I told you this was one of the most genuine show you will ever have. because I'm not a corrupt person, and me personally, I've never received a bribe since I was born. Mimi sijaipatana na mtu ananiitisha hongo. Hata Kenya sijailipa bribe, hata nilikuwa nimesimamishwa na polisi. I've been telling them nipeleke kwa court. I've appeared in the court 2 times in Kenya because of police issues. So, not that. So my credibility towards associating myself with anyone is beyond reproach. So I better even stop the show than take than just be bribed by somebody so that I can pipe for him. Yeah. So Sarah, I have another podcast, but your podcast is your politics. Hiyo ni ya mambo ingine. Yeah. Ni sawa. Roof, at least wacha tulale huko. I would be happy to sleep there because at least I will be doing something, maybe something which I like. Yeah, but I'm ready to support somebody who might want to do. I'm ready to support somebody who might want to do politics. So kama wewe unasikia uko na neema ya politics, nialike kwa show yako, nitakuja kugonga ngumzo hapo. Yeah, ukinialika kwa show yako nitakuja kugonga ngumzo hapo. But I don't feel the inclination to do politics again. I don't. So, and it's good to be honest. So I'm just being honest to you. So I want to use other means to fight Ruto. Late last year, I started working on a very complicated program, which people here criticized or were saying that I'm not giving. So I have been working on a very extensive program which needs a lot of time. So maybe to be honest, I tasked some people, I tasked some students, they have not been able to work on that program. I have kuna program natengeneza, very serious one for, it's a political analytics program. I'm working on it. I've been working on it almost now for 1.5 years. I tasked some people, they cannot be able to do it. And me personally, sina time because nikimaliza kazi, niko hapa kwa podcast. And then tukimaliza podcast, you are very tired. Then I need to do diagnosis of those codes, which are also very complicated. So I need to sit down and see where the errors are. So how vijana wangu, I was unable to, some of the few people who I have been working with, I was not able to focus with them. So hii mwaka yote, I've not been very useful on a very serious task, which we were really working very hard. We had already started loading the county data, which I loaded myself there. But there are so many things which I'm working on it. So for now, I feel it is better I focus on that program. Nimalize is a data analytics program which we want to launch it by December. And unless I'm available there, we will not be able to do that. And the young men who are working on it, they will not be able to take it to the finishing line. So I think I better stop doing so many things. Unajua saa zingine mtu anataka kufanya mambo mingi, they accomplish none. Unajua unaweza taka kufanya mambo mingi. So there's no need, unajua people monitor them, unajimonitor, unajiangalia, unajua saa zingine there's no need of focusing on so many things and you lose track on everything. Yeah, so And when I look at the podcast and when I look at the podcast and that the other thing which I'm doing, I feel I need to work on that thing. So Shoya, I needed to. I was feeling I could have retained Shoya Nani. I could have retained Shoya Valerie. But again, I cannot retain Shoya Valerie without attendance because Valerie does not come here for free. So I have to facilitate Valerie. So as I facilitate Valerie and there is no attendance, it doesn't make sense for. I would be happy to facilitate Valerie if there is attendance. I would be happy to do that. So Valerie does not come here on volunteership. So I've been investing in her, and I was happy to invest in her, by the way. So hata yako na mahitaji yake, so I cannot just be having her here and she is speaking to two people. So for me, that one does not make sense. So, and I don't think like I've been able to get feedback from people, kama maybe Shoya and your people do not like or what. Initially when she started, it was a bit hot, then ikakuja ikapata kink. Ilikuja ikapata kink. Yeah, so we work on pro bono basis, and I can facilitate Valerie as much as I can, but I can only facilitate Valerie if she is getting viewership. So I have no problem with that. So I can because I actually use my own money to facilitate Valerie. So I have to be honest on that. And I'm happy to do it, but I cannot just facilitate Valerie just to come and sit here. That's why I didn't know what to do with that show. Yeah, because when I analyzed it, it did not make sense to me. So so Sarah, whether it's sabotage or not, yeah. If you look at our previous show, yeah, people refuse to come, kabisa. So like Shoya Valerie, unless I come and take over from her, it usually goes to a king, which I don't like. So na then pia unajua ana uzoefu mwingi so sana, so I also don't want to keep up for 3 hours here and there's no commentator who is coming. Like I discussed with her, like, but you see, it's very difficult for Valerie to be here for 3 hours nana mtu kwa show. So we and I think we communicated enough. Tukasema kutakuanga na show ya 9. I think Valerie was starting in 9 to 12. Then I come and pick over from there. Ama kama sina time, I used to tell her wewe ufunga nitakuja kuanzisha. But me, I don't want to torture mtoto wa wenyewe to stay in a show for 3 hours na ana mtu. She doesn't have somebody who she can talk with here. I don't want to do that. So saa zingine she comes here and it is really very complicated for her because now she has to be here for 3 hours and there are no people in the channel. They are not. For me, you know, I'm a noisy hornbill. I'm used to this stuff. Yeah? I'm used. I used to be a high school teacher. Mi nilikuwanga mwalimu wa secondary for 2 years. where I talked a lot there. Nilikuwa naongea sana. Mimi nilikuwa mwalimu wa hesabu na kemia. I used to be a teacher. So that is back in 2006 and 2007. I taught in Moya Boys. Kwa wale watu wanajua Moya Boys iko wapi. So I taught in two day schools and I taught in Moya Boys. So nikapata experience hapo. Then in the university as a graduate student, I've also been a graduate assistant where you teach, unafunza. So nimekuwa nikifunza hapo. So again nikapata the experience of na kwanza especially wakati wa COVID we were also doing a lot of teaching online. So tukazoea hiyo uzoefu ya mazoom na nini. Lakini sasa mimi sitaki kupea mtoto wenyewe stress. Naambia mtoto wenyewe hapa lazima ufanye show ya masaa 3 na lazima ukue hapo for 3 hours and she is not getting commentators. It's not right. It's not right. I will not take her to those levels. I used to do shows here even with Shiko, and Shiko could actually, you see, if you are not used to this stuff, people get burnouts. Unajua ni vile wengine wetu tumekauka. People get burnout. Saa zingine Shiko alikuwa anafanya show hapa hata hizi amuka kesho. And sijui kama unanisikia, mtu anafanya show hapa nani watu Shiko anafanya show hapa hadi ananipigia simu ananiambia, wewe Njiru, you tortured me na kungojea uwezi kuja kwa show me I didn't know like our capacities are different so mimi nilikuwa nikifikiria mtu akiingia hapo tu ni kucharaza no, roof is not about the stress. Me I was thinking like show ukiingia hapo ni kuchapa unanilive kumbe ikuangi hivyo, kumbe it's serious business. You know, there are people who take shows as serious business. Wengine wetu like when we take it as a hobby, kuna wengine sasa lazima aende aandike hata mistari ile mistari anakuja kuambia akina Ana hapa because akina Ana wanadhararuka na yeye. I didn't know that lazima Ana aandikiwe mistari yeah, some people are engaged in the show ananiambia I need to prepare leo sitakuwa na show juu sija prepare hadi nikaanza kuwauliza kwani nini una prepare, si information iko kwa hewa? Wananiambia hapana, sio hivyo, the information is not in the air. Anyway, that was by the way, so I was trying to let you know and at this so I don't know at the to change up, but I told you Kitabo. So no, I'm trying to help you understand. I'm not making anyone win. I'm not making anyone win. So what I'm trying to say is that until I get a commitment from this show that people will be participative, there's no need of us coming here. Kama sahi hata watu wangekuwa, can you imagine hadi sahi hata hakuna hata mtu anajaribu kunok kwa show ili muniambie tuko serious. Ni Joseph Sara na mnatuambia we are not letting our enemies. Just imagine right now, let's assume it was Valerie who was here, angekuwa shapata burnout. Mnaachilia Valerie hapa anakuja anakaa 1 hour 2 hours peke yake, it will not work. Okay, Sarah anasema, do you need a panel? No, I'm not saying that I need a panel. It's not about a panel, but unajua pia you don't want the panel helps you to nilikuwa nimeweka link. The panel helps you to have an engaged dialogue. So if you don't have a panel, definitely, unless hata mtu akuje afanye show ya kitu kama 1 hour monologue, you do a monologue na uende. I don't know if you get it, but the panel creates a conversation and a dialogue which makes the show real, because now you are engaging people and you are trying to engage minds. So you are creating an artificial audience which can now be correlated with what people are thinking. That is the importance of the panel. The panel is to create reality. It's like to mimic what is happening in the service. Tuko pamoja? That is the importance of the panel. So, Sarah, you can give me the format which you think we can do. I would be happy to. I would be happy to help. Maybe, let me see what. Maybe if you and one guest, then it picks up in the. No, unajua saa zingine Sara pia hao magest wapatangi haraka, because some of the guests unasikia kwa kikuuliza hiyo podcast yako iko na subscribers wangapi. Like I remember the last time when I engaged in Ndegwa Njiru was almost refusing to come to our show. Yeah, Ndegwa Njiru was refusing to come to our show because alikuwa anasema you have a very small podcast. So saa zingine pia unless upate wale wageni ambao si wa madharau, ni ngumu. I'm telling you, show kama hii yetu, hata ukiambia mtu kama Martha Karua kuja hawezi kuja, because wataangalia tu podcast tu, nasema wachana na hiyo. Mtu kama Gachagua hawezi kuja podcast, and maybe it could be one of the podcasts which is one of the most genuine podcasts we have in Kenya, but he would rather go kwa podcast ya Mo, but hawezi kuja podcast kama hii, because tu yeye tu ataangalia wale ma subscribers wako hapo, then anasema hii podcast yenu sio serious. Wewe Joseph, wacha mambo mingi, hata ulinidanganya, sitaki story yako. So are we together? So anyway, Sarah, me, I have no problem. Tunatakaga kukuja hapa tunaongea. We talk, people talk. In any case, that's why like Valerie was doing three hours, because nilikuwa nimemwambia I don't want us to do very long shows. Unajua ni watu walikuwa wanataka tunafanya hizo long shows because we wanted it to. You can do a long show if you have attendance and people are motivated. You can do. Me personally, I usually have a lot of energy. If I have proper attendance, I can even do a show for 6-7 hours. I have no problem with that. Even without a panel, I can do a show. Yeah, I usually know how to somersault myself along the way, so I have no problem about that. I can do a long show. I can do a long show. So I can do a long show. I can do a short show. So me, I fit either way. So I can moderate people. I can moderate myself. So I can do a long show, I can do a short show. So me sinanga pressure na show. And I will make sure that it's a very quality one. And I will drive it the way we want. And this is one of the show which I think people will highly miss, because it was a genuine show. Na haikuwa show ambayo ati Ruto could have been able to access, or any more could have been able to access. Yeah. Unfortunately, we behaved as if we don't want it. Unajua saa zingine is good to react to how people are behaving. Yeah, mimi nikiona saa zingine unajua you have to be sharp and monitor issues. You look at issues so that you can make inferences and you can react to issues. But I don't think right now we are supposed to be having highly motivated crowd here. Yes, people should be highly motivated. This is not a time for people to be dull. Siasa yetu, we are now reaching at the king. We are at the wrong time now to start saying that we don't want to fight. Roof, I would want to persevere, lakini how do you persevere without participation? Kuna and it's not about being short. I've been here for 1 year. Na nimefanya hizi show sana. Nimekuwa hii show nimefanya for 1 year. I started kesho. Let me see. Let me look at our nataka kuangalia leo tumefanya show ngapi toka nianzishe hii podcast. Ili muone. It's not the issue of giving up. Let me tell you how many shows we have done since we started. You can go to YouTube uone how many shows we have done. I remember we did this show when we were really very, very down. So Kenya Democracy. Nataka kuangalia ni show ngapi. We have done 739 videos. So 739 videos, can you divide with 365? Hiyo ni miaka mbili. 739. Let me divide with 365. 739. Yeah. Where is my I can use my calculator. So let me use my calculator on. So 739. Na leo ni 740. 739 divided by 365. That is 2.02. We have been here for 2 years. So if it is a matter of giving up, I don't think I've given up on my second year. I had energy even to go to the third year. Na nilikuwa nimejitolea, by the way, I had said I will do this show for 3 years. I had said I would do this show for 3 years. Lakini nyinyi wenyewe, unless muhape, nyinyi wenyewe you have demotivated me. Amukuji show. So unless yourself, Roof, Sarah, muweke commitment hapo, mkwe mnasema you people will be coming for show. But I don't want just to be coming for show here, kujiongelesha. Me, I will not do that. I've just said here that mimi hata nikiitwa event siwezi enda. I never go hata nikiitwa event. Kama saa hii for the first time leo nimeitwa, somebody has invited me for July 4. Na nimemwambia by the way nitapatikana. Last time ungeniita for anything, nilikuwa nakwambia I don't have time. So July 4 ya hii mwaka, at least now I have time to go for that ceremony. Kuna mtu amenialika. So I will be July 4. So I could actually forego an event sababu yenu. But sasa nimefika level sasa I cannot forego issues because of you people. Because frankly speaking, you have proved unreliable. Amukuji show, you are dull, you have given up. It is not me with giving up. Yourself ni nyinyi mume give up. So there's no any single day mimi nimekataa kukuja hapa. Ni nyinyi, you people, you have given up. I don't want just to be here. I also have a life, man. And women, I have a life. Like, I want to be honest. Unaona hii desk nimekalia hapa. Nilifika hapa 6:45 p.m. Today I have to explain how I run my schedule. So nilifika kwa hii desk nilifika kwa hii desk 6:45. So I usually work in this when I want to show you how I do things. Itabidi niwaelezee sasa. So that when the crowd gets demotivated, so nifike hapa 6:45. Na Morocco imeanza. Nikifika hapa 6:45, nitakaa hapa mpaka 5 p.m. Nikikaa hapa mpaka 5 p.m. after then nifanye my time sheet. Then from there I shift to podcast. So I usually shift from podcast from 5 your podcast. No, it's not even about World Cup, by the way. I'm not an extreme fan of football. Me, I don't need. For me, my country is more important than the World Cup. In any case, hata Kenya iko kwa hii World Cup. Na hakuna mtu atashinda kikombe hapa alete kwangu. So World Cup is not an issue to me. So this one is a priority compared to World Cup for me. So maybe pengine nini. Sasa 5 I shift. Saa zingine I need to get out of here. So tuseme nimeanzisha podcast hapa na ni 5. I have to go home. So nitoke hapa around 7. Usually nafanyanga podcast masaa kama mawili. 7 p.m. niondoke hapa. Every day. So 7 p.m. niondoke. Ama saa zingine when podcast imeshika sana nitatoka hapa 8 p.m. ama 9 p.m. So niondoke hapa niende, so nifike nyumbani around 9 p.m. Then that 9 p.m. I have to do other stuff for myself. Saa zingine hiyo podcast nende. So saa zingine tunapelekanga podcast mpaka inafikisha midnight. I have to sleep and wake up again here. Wake up at around 6 so that you use around 45 minutes to prepare yourself. 6:45 ufike hapa, and the cycle continues. That is and I decided to do, and I've been doing that for 2 years now. That's the cycle I've done for 2 years. I combine with what I do, then I come and do the podcast every day. I combine with what I do, I come and do the podcast. Then kama ni Sunday, church ikiisha, sina mambo mingi. Immediately church ikiisha, ni kukalia gari chwa kwa nyumba to come and start the podcast. If it is on Saturday, immediately after my issues, 2 p.m. sure unaanzisha podcast. Kama kuna event somewhere, I cancel them. I wish I can show you my calendar and I show you the activities and messages which are mimi hata nikialikwa event siwezi enda for the last 2 years. I don't go anywhere. You want to run this. Tell me at the lock. I want to learn this podcast. So I want to show you the extent of sacrifices which a human being can do for the love of his country. So it's not a matter of giving up. If it was giving up, I could have given up kitambo. But I think my audience has told me they don't want the podcast. Sio mimi nimekataa podcast. Ni nyinyi mumekataa podcast. Unfortunately. So I am giving you this time to introspect and think widely. Nimewapea email in the unlikely event. Wacha niandike email yangu hapo. In the unlikely event you feel that decision is unfair, we can talk. But I will need a lot of motivation to return back. Yes. So mimi sina jambo lingine. So that is my email. If there is somebody who might be willing to get in touch, that is my email. You can feel get in touch. So kama uko na mbinu mpya ya kupigana na Ruto, I wish you well. So for now, wacha to focus na hiyo mambo nimejaribu kueleza. Ni vile I decided to be a little bit extensive. So wacha to focus na hizo story. Yeah, so wacha to focus na hizo story. Yeah. Sarah, you can imagine. I do all these things. I am also preparing for an exam. So I can only sacrifice if also PSC we are sacrificing. So I cannot do a sacrifice and people here are not sacrificing. So it doesn't make sense. Yeah, but I'm willing to support anyone who is willing to start a podcast. I have no problem. I can share the experience. At least naweza mwambia I can kickstart somebody. If there is somebody who is interested, maybe also pengine Mungu anataka kupea mtu mwingine neema. So maybe if you feel you can run a podcast, you can see me, I can guide you. At least hiyo experience nimekuwa nayo sio experience ya kuku. I can guide somebody at least to have a podcast. At least niko na hiyo I've been there. Yeah, I've been there, and it's rough but enjoyable. Yeah, so if you want to do a podcast, yeah, I'm there for you. So nitakusaidia. My StreamYard subscription is still good until December. I would be happy also to share my StreamYard subscription. So kama kuna mtu anahitaji StreamYard, as long as you have a YouTube channel, my StreamYard is good. I have subscribed it until December. Nilikuwa nimejitayarisha sana hiyo mambo yote. Nilikuwa nimejitayarisha hiyo mambo yote. I paid the subscriptions, nikawatafutia varale ili mufikirie sikuwa nawapenda, to make sure that there are no gaps. Nikawatafutia varale, alafu nyinyi wenyewe kwa matendo yenu mkasema you don't want. No, hakuna mtu amenitishia. Roof, I cannot stop this podcast because kuna mtu amenitishia. You people, you are the ones who refuse the show. So no, Joseph, no. So anyway, ni sawa. Anything for me? Yeah, Sarah is okay. Wacha wafurahie. I did not get support from you people. So saa zingine when you people you allow somebody to collapse, alafu sasa mnasema hivyo. So unajua saa zingine when the people do not get that moral support, things crumble. So Sarah, you people, you refuse to support this podcast, and I saw I was forcing it to your throats, and it's not fair. Ana anasema Itumbi amewini. Sawa, kama ameshinda ni sawa. Sawa, kama kuna mtu anataka kuingia kwa show aseme kitu, anaweza ingia. Nimewekea link. You don't need to be in the camera. Nimewekea show. Si show ni yenu. Munaona sasa? Tunasemanga show ni yetu, alafu you guys you don't appear. Nimeweka link hapo. If kuna mtu anataka kuingia anaweza ingia. Maybe I can wait for 5 minutes. Let me see what I can put as I wait for somebody to enter. So please, sababu naona msimamo hayuko, msimamo wako usingizi. When msimamo wakes up, mwambieni hiyo ujumbe. Yeah, wale wanajua Kipril mwambieni hiyo ujumbe pia. Pitisheni hiyo ujumbe. Sawa mkubwa, nimepokea email yako. Sasa andika kile unataka sasa. Salamu haitoshi. Sasa email zimeanza kuanguka. Salamu haitoshi bwana. Hiyo email ikamilike. Sema kitu.
I'm here to address you. You must go. Ruto must go. Kwapa na hatuendi. Kwapa tunalala huku na hatuendi. We don't fear you guys. You hypocrites. We don't fear you. Mr. Speaker, we don't fear you. Tuko ndani. We stomped inside.
June 25th, 2024, Parliament is breached, not by soldiers, not by a coup, by a university student with a phone.
When the time comes, I was there until the last person got out of Parliament, Your Honor. I didn't see this correctly within the presence of Parliament.
Ezekiel Kiama Nzioki, a fourth-year Kenyatta University student, walked through a broken perimeter, past tear gas and live bullets, and made it to the heart of Kenya's legislature. What he did next was recorded, uploaded, and watched by millions within hours.
Sir, I'm here to address you. You must go. Ruto must go. Kwapa na hatuendi. Kwapa tunalala huku na hatuendi. We don't fear you guys. You hypocrites. We don't fear you. Mr. Speaker, we don't fear you. Tuko ndani. We stomped inside.
Standing near the speaker's chair, he looked directly into his camera and said, "Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm here to address you. You must go." The sentence became the defining sound of our generation. The context matters. Parliament had just passed the Finance Bill 2024, a package of taxes that Gen Z saw as a direct attack on their already fragile economic futures. They organized on X, TikTok, and WhatsApp. No party structures, no patronage chains, just rage, coordination, and phones. When they marched in their hundreds of thousands. When some breached Parliament, police opened fires. At least 9 Kenyans were killed, according to Amnesty International. Hundreds more were injured. The bill was eventually withdrawn. Kiama vanished. For nearly 23 months, he stayed out of public view, aware that the footage making him a hero also made him a target. Then, in May 2026, he resurfaced, calm, measured.
Inataka kutoa pesa ambayo iko mfukoni, inyang'anye yote, ichukue.
He told interviewers he had been in a comfort zone and was ready to speak again. The internet received him like a returning figure from exile. Then came the anniversary, June 25th, 2026. 2 years after Black Tuesday, families of the slain brought flowers. Activists brought placards. The state brought barbed wire, heavy police deployment, and plainclothes officers. Over 200 people were arrested that day. Some reported being held without access to lawyers. Some alleged mistreated in custody. Many young people stayed home, not out of apathy, but out of fear. Kiama was arrested in Nairobi CBD, held at a central police station. 4 days later, June 29th, 2026, he appeared before Senior Principal Magistrate Caroline Mugo at Milimani Law Courts. The charge, malicious damage to property under Section 339(1) of the Penal Code. The alleged damage, Parliament's perimeter fence and associated structures. The claimed value, 41,248,570 Kenya shillings.
Thank you, members of the press. I want to take this opportunity to thank the courts for the wise ruling that has been delivered today concerning Mr. Speaker, sir, Ezekiel Chama. He has been released on personal bond terms, meaning that he's free to go home without paying anything. And finally, the devil has been ashamed. And I want to warn the DCI officers that when you are not ready to present somebody to court, do not come here and express your ignorance, because all these charges that you pressed against our client, they don't make sense at all. I was in Parliament that day when the alleged offense occurred. The only challenge, the only problem that these Gen Zs committed is that they wanted the high cost of living be reduced. They wanted jobs. They didn't want the finance bill to be passed.
The prosecution argued deliberate, willful destruction of state property belonging to the Parliamentary Service Commission. Kiama denied the charges. His legal team, including MP and advocate Babu Owino, alongside lawyer Gordon Ogado, argued for reasonable bond terms given his limited financial means.
Institution that mandates them to act.
The court released him on a personal bond of 100,000 Kenya shillings. The case was adjourned.
At Parliament buildings within Nairobi County.
For many, 41 million Kenya shillings figure became the story within the story. How was it calculated? Why now? Why one symbolic figure while broader questions about the deaths of protesters remain unsolved? For others, the answer is simple. Symbols are prosecuted because ideas cannot be.
1F, read with section 31(2) of the Parliamentary Powers Act.
The footage of Kiama recorded inside Parliament is now court evidence, but it has also been watched, shared, and archived around the world. The state can file charges. It cannot file charges against a clip. Kenya's Gen Z did not just protest in 2024. They created a reference point, a before and after. The case returns for mention in 2 weeks. The country is watching.
And they have the right to do so. Parliament is a public place. One of the charges that is being leveled, pressed against our client is that he accessed the pressings of Parliament in contravention of section 31(1) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. This is nonsensical. This is gibberish. Parliament is a public place built by public resources, funds, money from the taxpayers, and any citizen, even now, if any citizen wants to go and have lunch in Parliament, you are free to go and have lunch. So do not tell us that people cannot access public places that they built using their own money. So it is completely uncalled for. The DCI usitutest tena, sisi ni wale wabaya. Angalia hizi masura vizuri, na tukiwapata kutini, we will deal with you because in the court pressings, wewe ni raia kama mtu yeyote. Na hii kitu I repeat it once again. Citizens should know, should never fear the police officers, the DCI officers.
Newton Wafula, Newsroom, Maisha TV.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With Wix, you can grab yours now and then get to work.
Tumekuwa katika hali ya kumtafuta kuanzia Thursday, lakini kuelekea kitu kama saa 4 hivi tumekuja tukampata ako Kenyatta, na akiwa Kenyatta hakuwa amevaa nguo, hakuwa na nguo.
Lichuma was found at Kenyatta National Hospital on the evening of Sunday, June 28th, barely able to speak, his body bearing what activists say are clear signs of torture and physical assault. He had been missing for more than 3 days, no explanation, no trail, no contact, just silence, until his colleagues confirmed his presence at the country's largest public hospital in serious condition.
Alafu ile design alikuwa amekaa ni kama alikuwa amepigwa sana mpaka amechanganyikiwa.
This is not a story about a man who simply got lost. This is a story that cuts to the heart of a disturbing pattern in Kenya, one where civil society voices disappear into a void and resurface broken, if they resurface at all.
Hata nijui mimi mwenyewe kijaribu kumwongelesha ongei akona ile woga.
Davis Lichuma is a Kenyan activist aligned with the wave of civil society organizations that has been at the forefront of pushing back against government excesses and police brutality. He was last seen in public on June 25th, participating in demonstrations. Photographs of him at the protest were circulating online as recently as that day. Then, without warning, he vanished. For those who work on the front lines of Kenya's human rights landscape, Lichuma's disappearance immediately triggered alarm bells. Activists and rights organizations had seen this before. Cases of enforced disappearances where individuals critical of state power go missing, only to be found days later, or in some cases, not at all. By Sunday morning, the coalition of rights groups had reached a breaking point. They called a press conference and issued a direct public ultimatum to the Kenya National Police Service, release Davis Lichuma and the two other missing activists, Macmillan Kiari and Abdulaziz Molo, also known as Zizo, within 24 hours or face nationwide demonstrations beginning Monday morning. The ultimatum was not symbolic. Rights groups made clear they had the mobilization capacity and the will to coordinate protests across the country if their demands went unmet. They named 3 individuals, specifically Lichuma, Kiari, and Zizo, all activists, all missing, all unaccounted for.
And Davis Lichuma has been, since 2024, he has been a marked person because the police have been after his case. And we are also here to raise an issue of enforced disappearances that have been happening in Mathare. The last 2 weeks, over 4 comrades of 4 people, community members of Mathare, have disappeared.
So sisi tunajua wenye wamechukua hawa watu, it is the police. And we will not hide that this country has a rogue police service.
We are giving the government, the police, 24 hours to produce Davis Lichuma. After 24 hours, Tuesday, this country is going to become ungovernable.
Hussein Khalid, a prominent human rights activist, was among the voices at the forefront of the effort when Lichuma was eventually found that same evening. Khalid confirmed the news publicly, noting that while the discovery brought some relief, the circumstances were deeply troubling. Lichuma had been found in bad shape at KNH. Colleagues were organizing to have him transferred to a private hospital for better care.
Ndio imefika pali paka tumemleta hapa kwa hiyo hospitali hapa, sasa ndio anatibiwa.
Kitu ya kwanza tunashukuru ako alive, but the state ambayo our comrade ako ni very initatanishi, and kwa mpiganiaji wa haki, a defenders of human rights, hakuna kitu mbaya inaweza fanyikia mtu kama hii.
Kusema the same situation yenye wale watu tulipata tarehe 20 wale walikuwa abducted after maandamano ya 25th June. That is the same situation, watu wako the same situation ya wale walikuwa. Kujaribu kuangalia mtu anapatikana kama ajielewi. Isipokuwa ya huyu iko extreme, lakini haina tofauti na wale wengine.
Hours after the rights groups issued their ultimatum and shortly before Lichuma was confirmed found, the National Police Service broke its silence. In an official statement, the NPS acknowledged the allegations circulating in mainstream and social media regarding enforced disappearances and torture. The statement confirmed that a missing person report for Davis Lichuma had been lodged at Central Police Station in Nairobi. The NPS say they were pursuing the matter through what they described as professional investigation. They gave no detail on where Lichuma had been, who had him, or what had happened to him. For many observers, the timing of the police statement coming only after public ultimatum and hours of sustained pressure from civil society was notably. It took days of public outrage, a formal press conference, a threatened nationwide protest, and hours of social media pressure before any official body acknowledged that this man had even been reported missing. The statement made no reference to suspects, no acknowledgement of injuries Lichuma sustained, and no commitment to accountability beyond the vague promise of investigation.
And if you follow through, Lichuma alichukuliwa na watu ambao walikuwa ni security persons. Tumeambiwa CCTV ya Max akichukuliwa the same, Zizo the same. So sisi tunajua wenye wamechukua watu, it is the police.
The Social Justice Center's Working Group and Vocal Africa, among other organizations, made their demand explicit. They want an independent investigation into the circumstances of Lichuma's disappearance, including a full accounting of the injuries and trauma he sustained. They want the individuals responsible for his unlawful detention identified and prosecuted. These demands are not new in Kenya. They echo calls that have been made after previous disappearances, some of which remained uninvestigated and unresolved. The pattern is familiar to human rights defenders in the country. Activists disappear following periods of protest activity, surface injured or not at all, and accountability rarely follows. Davis Lichuma is alive. He is receiving medical treatment. His colleagues are working to move him to a private facility, but he cannot yet speak for himself about what happened to him during the days he went missing. When he can, his account will matter enormously, not just for his own case, but for what it reveals about the broader treatment of activists in Kenya. The country has commitments, legal and constitutional, to protect the freedom of association and expression. What happened to Lichuma, if the injuries tell the story rights groups believe they do, represent a grave violation of those commitments. Kenya's human rights community is watching this closely. The international community is watching, and the families of Macmillan Kiari and Abdulaziz Molo are still waiting. This story is not over. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Mesh Msembi.
With Kalshi, you can trade on anything.
Man, tell them something they don't know. Like, I'm from Greece.
Tumeona President Ruto jana akiongea akisema kwamba hizo foreign trips ambazo yeye anaenda na miguu yake na mwili yake. Ati mbona watu wako na shida na yeye akienda foreign trips na anaenda na miguu yake na mwili yake. Sisi nataka kuambia President Ruto, unaenda miguu ni yako, mwili ni yako, lakini pesa yenye unatumia, it is our taxes. It is not your money. Hiyo pesa sio yako. You are using our taxes. We don't care about your legs and your body and your whatever. But the money you are using on your wasteful foreign trips is our taxes. The money you are wasting on unnecessary foreign trips, on useless foreign trips, is our taxes. It is our taxes. So wacha kupiga hapa kifua ukisema ati watu wako na shida na wewe kutravel na unatumia mwili yako na miguu yako. Pesa yenye unatumia ni ya nani? Pesa yenye unatumia ni ya nani? Hiyo pesa yenye unatumia ni ya kuuza mayai. Unauza mayai ndio unapata pesa ya kwenda. Unauza mayai ama kuku. Si ni taxes zetu unatumia kwenda kwa hizo foreign trips. Hizo foreign trips ambazo una Google kutafuta conferences. Unaenda. Una Google kutafuta conferences, unaenda. Unatumia pesa yetu, taxes yetu. Wacha kudharau Wakenya kusema kwamba ati unatumia miguu yako na mwili yako, ati Wakenya waachane na wewe. Unatumia pesa yetu. Na wewe endelea tu kuzurura kwa hewa. Na hakuna kitu unatafuta. Kuzurura tu kwa hewa kila mahali, na hakuna kitu unatafuta. Mara uko Germany, mara uko Finland, mara uko Canada, mara uko wapi, na hakuna kitu unatafuta, hakuna kitu unalete, ni kuzurura tu. You are wasting our public resources. Hii arrogance ambayo mko nayo, nimeona mpaka hiyo arrogance mpaka mtu anaitwa Murkomen ako nayo. Murkomen anajifanya yeye ndio Kinairugaba Muhozi wa Kenya. Murkomen amejifanya yeye ndio Kinairugaba Muhozi, ule kijana wa Museveni ambaye yeye ndio kiongozi wa Uganda Defense Forces, ule mtoto ya Museveni, ule ambaye anavaa diapers. Sasa huyu Murkomen anataka afanye kama Muhozi, lakini nataka kuambia Murkomen, this is Kenya bwana. You are dealing with the Kenyans, people who are enlightened. Murkomen, you are dealing with the people whose IQ is above 75. Uganda bado IQ ya Uganda bado iko 65, iko chini. Lakini Murkomen, you are Muhozi anafanya hizo vitu za ujinga, anafanya kule Uganda kwa sababu IQ ya Uganda bado iko below 60. Lakini wa Kenya, and it has been proven scientifically that Kenyans IQ is above 75. Is above 75. Raila ndiye alikuwa na IQ ya juu sana hapa Kenya, yake ilikuwa 95. Na Wakenya wengine tuko above 75. Murkomen, you are dealing with an enlightened population. You cannot intimidate us. We know kwamba persuasion, tunajua kwamba mnajua mwezi kupata kura by persuasion. You have given up on persuasion. So you have resorted to intimidation, abduction, detention without trial and torture. Mumejua kwamba you cannot win by persuasion, kwamba Wakenya hamta convince by persuasion. You have given up on persuading Kenyans to vote for Ruto for a second term. So you have resorted to either bribing. If it is not bribing, it is intimidation, abduction, torture, detention without trial. Detention without trial ni kitu ambayo ilikuwa nchi hii wakati wa Moi. Wakati wa Moi ndio kulikuwa na detention without trial. And now we see it has been reinvented. Hiyo kitabu ya detention without trial, Ruto ameichukua kutoka kwa shelf, ameipiga vumbi, sasa anaitumia. People are being abducted, detained without trial, tortured. Kama hii kesi ya nani ya Davis Lichuma, huyu kijana wa Homa Bay ambaye amekuwa tortured na akatupwa kwa barabara. Sasa resort to detention without trial and torture. Mkumbuke wakati wa Moi kulikuwa na Nyayo torture chambers, kulikuwa na Nyati House torture chambers, but Kenyans said no, enough is enough, and Moi had to give in. Moi had to give in. You will not succeed. Nataka kuambia hata mfanye nini, hata muua wa Kenya wangapi, even if you detain how many Kenyans you want to detain, even if you abduct Kenyans and torture them, the writing is written on the wall. The writing is written on the wall. Na hamutageuza mawazo ya Kenya. Kenyans have already decided. There is nothing you will do to intimidate them. Kenyans have made a decision. Hata mtu huwa wangapi, whatever you do, hamutafaulu. You will not succeed. You will not succeed. Hii abduction ambayo mmeanza, mmechukua watu, some goons going around in high-end vehicles, TX, V8, na hizo zingine, Prados, with the guns. While they have covered, they have concealed their faces, they have concealed number plates. We want to tell you that hamutafaulu. Moi tried it and it did not succeed. Moi alijaribu kutocha watu, kuweka watu Nyoya House na kuwatocha. Moi alijaribu kila mbinu, but Kenyans decided enough is enough. Na Moi had to give in na multi-party ikaingia. We want to tell Murkomen, you will not be a Muhozi in Kenya. Hautakuwa Muhozi hapa Kenya. Wakenya tuko macho na hatutanyamaza. We shall not be intimidated. We shall speak without fear. We shall speak because this is our country and we love this country, and we hate the way you are the direction you are taking this country economically and politically. You are taking us into a hole, and this is our country. We have to defend our country, and we shall defend it viciously without fearing anyone. We only fear God. Kenyans tunaogopa tu Mungu na Ujimoto. Hatuwezi kuogopa Ruto na Murkomen. We cannot fear them. Hata kama mkiabduct watu, since Thursday up to now, abduct over 10 people, tortured them. Wengine bado hawajapatikana mpaka sasa, na mjue kwamba hii mambo yote ambayo mnafanya, there is a day somebody will stand in court to account, because these ones are crimes against humanity. These ones are crimes against humanity. Na mimi nataka nimalize kusema hivi. Mpaka Ruto akaongea jana akasema watu wa Meru ile kitu wanahitaji ni state lodge. Watu wa Meru wanahitaji sana state lodge, hawahitaji hospitali, hawahitaji shule, hawahitaji industry. Ati watu wa Meru ile kitu wanahitaji sana ni state lodge. State lodge ndio watu wa Meru wanahitaji. State lodge inasaidia nini watu? Ati president aendange huko akufanya kazi. Huyu president mbona haamini wale watu ambao wanafanya kazi chini yake? Huyu president ako na county commissioner kule Meru. County commissioner ambaye anaweza lunch tapu ya maji. Sio lazima president apande ndege atumie mamilioni kutoka Nairobi anaenda kulunch tapu ya maji Meru. Na ako na mwakilishi huko ambaye anaitwa county commissioner. A county commissioner ni ofisi ya rais. Chief ni ofisi ya rais. Dio ni ofisi ya rais. Mbona huyu rais haamini watu ambao wanafanya kazi chini yake? Rais ana lunch mpaka tapu, aenda lunch mpaka choo. Why is it that this president does not trust the people who work below him? Hii serikali tunaipatia muda, na tunajua kwamba tunabakisha siku 399 days today, 13 months, 12 months. We are counting. We are having a countdown. Na tunaona vile serikali inaendelea kuporwa. Watu wanaendelea kupora. People are keeping billions in their houses, millions in their houses. Mpaka wa leo hii mtu ambaye anaitwa Junet Mohamed ambaye alikuwa anatoanga harambee juzi tu, alikuwa anatoanga kwa harambee 10,000. Hata kwa harambee za Raila alikuwa anatoa 10,000. Junet Mohamed amepata wapi pesa mpaka anatoa 10 million? 10 million kwa harambee leo. Junet Mohamed, how did Junet Mohamed come rich, filthy rich overnight? This is pilferage of public resources. Asante na Mungu awabariki.
Haya. Why? Anyway, ni sawa, sina maoni. Hebu niwaangalilie show. Hebu poll inaendeleaje? Hebu tuone. Ana, hebu tupe result ya poll. Hebu nisome hiyo swali, mimi pengine watu hawakuelewa. Do you want this show to end and we focus on other things? Yeah. The question is clear. Yes. 56% wanasema ikwende. Okay. 56% of participants wamesema potelea mbali. So my guess was right. Sasa ani mtasema tena mimi nawekelea show. We Joseph, respond. Sasa imefika level sasa, hata hii show wale waitaki ndio wengi na wako pamoja na sisi hapa. Their day has arrived. They have spoken in silence. Kura inakuja, but it's astonishing that all this number, they don't want this show. It's astonishing, it's astounding. Sasa Sara unaniuliza, who are these people? Our show imefika level, I think we are either redundant or there is something which is happening in which is not good. Nimeonyesha tumekuwa tukiongea na maadui zetu hapa. So when I say kama watu wanapenda hii show, hatuwezi piga show hadi imefika level mpaka wale wataki hii show ndio wengi. Okay. Sasa imefika 50-50. Wacha nione hiyo namba. Aya, pigeni kura, wacha nione kama utaki show weka yes. Kama unataka show weka no. Kama utaki show weka yes. Kama utaki show weka yes. Kama unataka show weka no. Tuone. Joe Dida, ona poll. Too many people are saying they don't want this show. As many people who do not want this show, they also want this show. That's what our poll is saying. As many people who do not want this show, they also don't want this show. Either tuseme we are in the wrong place, hiyo itabidi munikonfirmie. Either we are in the wrong place, tuko kwa show yetu. Ni swali tu nauliza, are we in our show? Sasa watu wanao wamefika 52 sasa watu wanao wameanzia kujitoa. Watu wanao wameanzia kuona niko noma. Watu wanao wameanzia kuona show inaweza enda tukiendelea hivi. Watu wanao wameanzia kuona tukiendelea hivi show inaenda. But the truth of the matter is that that poll can tell you something. We are just having the wrong audience. Yes. We are just having the wrong audience. Hii show wale watu one time people have disappeared, mumeachia watu wa Ruto hapa. That is what that's what that poll says. That poll, it just says we have the true people have lost momentum, and those people are waiting for the day. Na siku imefika sasa, ndio hiyo sasa. Na walisema lazima mfunge kipindi, mupende msipende. So the day has come. Tunaweka poll, hatuwezi shinda. Ama tukishinda, tunashinda kwa shida sana. Afadhali sasa kukua Rabat sasa. Wacha niende Casablanca sasa. At least I told you my feeling. My instincts were not lying. My instincts were not lying. My instincts were not lying. Kuna kitu ilikuwa inaniambia hii show yetu we are talking to watu ya Ruto. Watu wa Ruto ndio audience yetu. So it's unfortunate the watu wa Ruto, and na niulize, we are having 16 people are viewing now. 16 people are viewing now, right now, and that was the number when people were voting. That was unajua, mimi lazima niwaambiange, that was the number. Wale watu wamevote ni 21. More people have voted than the people viewing. Kumaanisha hawa watu wa Ruto wamekuja wakapiga kura na wakaenda. So sasa, then let me ask a question. Why should I be speaking to two-term people? Why should I be wasting my time with the two-term people? Kama watu wa one-term hawawezi jisaidia. Why should I sacrifice for two-term people? Si afadhali tu watu wa two-term mwendo wajitetee na huko kivyao. Kwa nini nilee watu miaka 2 hapa and finally sio watu wetu? Hapana. Kwa nini? Kwa nini nilee watu hapa? Anyway, no, mimi Rufruf sijauliza swali the same. Tulikuwa nishaenda tu. We were just doing the poll to confirm. Anyway, sawa. Thank you very much. Shalom. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Wacha niende. I hope Morocco will not frustrate me. Bye-bye. Let me see the final numbers as we cross. The final number is 5248. Thank you. Thank you and appreciated. Nimeshukuru. Thank you for being around. Sasa watu wa two-term nimewaachia show. Mnaweza endelea. Watu wa two-term, bye. Nimewaachia show, mnaweza endelea. Tafuteni look for your commentator. Tafuteni moderator wenyu sasa, watu wa two-term. Mtafute moderator wenyu.